full time here in the Gaelic grounds, and the final score is 325 to 130. Limerick getting through it by 1 point. I said it after the Tipperary Limerick game last week to Tommy Walsh, and I'll say the same to you. Some game that.
Yeah, you can't beat a bit of Munster Championship. Look at again a wild finish, Cathal, to what was another, just brilliantly entertaining Munster Championship game, and it's delivered all year. Outside probably of the Cork Waterford match, which was, I suppose, a damn good, and Clare Waterford was dull as well. Outside of that, pretty much every one of the games have been, one belter after another. And I suppose coming into today, if you took the 5 meetings, between the top 4 sides, 2 draws, 2 1-point wins, and the Clare Tipp match was, closer than the 5-point margin separated the sides. So another 1-point margin today just tells you how little there is between the top four sides. But credit to Limerick, I suppose, for showing a lot of resilience, and credit to Cork for finding a way back into the game. They were 7 points down, I think, with probably 10 minutes left on the clock, and hadn't created a goal chance all day. Nicky Quaid didn't have a save to make up to that point, and Patrick Horgan, as the ball broke in behind, you felt he had to pull in it first time. He did. Nicky Quaid got a hurley to it. It crept over the line, gave Cork a lifeline, and as I said, they showed massive resolve in a game when they were really struggling to win any kind of traction in their own half forward line, under real pressure on their own puck out. They were suddenly back to 1 and right in it. So yeah, a game that had absolutely everything. And Limerick, I suppose, showed again the champions that they are. Garrod Hegarty, after I think Darren Fitzgibbon or Hoggy had got it back to 1, there's minute 68, 69 minute, Hegarty goes up into the clouds, comes down with the next puck out, 6 it over the bar, turns fist pump to the crowd, and don't think that it didn't mean anything to him or to the rest of that Limerick team. And how good will they feel now? The resultant hurls haven't gone their way, and they're back in a Munster final. Yeah,
I'd say they're shocked that they're in a Munster final. John Kiley must be happy with the return he got from his midfield as well.
Yeah, well, Limerick had 12 different scorers. They shot 325 and had 14 wides, and some of those misses again were uncharacteristic. So again, they got their 40 shots off, and if they do that, they're going to win the games. It's as simple as that. But I think the most pleasing thing for Kiley and Kinnaird today would be the number of goal chances. They looked like, I think I counted 7. Obviously they scored 3 goals, but Patrick Collins, I think at the 8th minute, pulled off a brilliant interception off Galan when it looked like all he had to do was put it into the back of the net. He came off his line, got a brilliant flick on it. Again, there was one that Galan, a pass that Galan overhit probably Tom Morrissey. Again, Cork had to take it off the line, and there was another bit of mess in the Cork full back line that Flanagan flashed it over the bar when again it could have been under the crossbar. So there was huge space in front of that Cork full back line, and Galan and Flanagan, I thought, looked like they could get goals all day, and they're both strong in the air. Galan in particular. So that's really pleasing. But even Garrod Hegarty worked very hard today. Tom Morrissey has been the one guy in that Limerick half forward that's been consistently good. Again, he got through an amount of work today. Will O'Donoghue was back to his best in the middle of the field. Darragh Donovan got 3 points, and the half back line, Burns was man of the match. Kyle Hayes was again dominant on the other flank, and the full back line, they didn't cough up really until Hoggy's goal chance, probably a goal chance all afternoon. Maybe Conor Lahan had one at the end that he flashed wide, but that was from a narrow angle. So yeah, look at huge positives for Limerick and Kiley. But I think the one thing that you're looking for is, you want the effort, you want the desire from your players, and there was plenty of evidence of that call today.
It's a ruthless business, isn't it? Cork exit the championship with 2 losses, both games lost by a point. It's tough going, isn't it? Like, a lot of those lads now, do you think will we see the likes of maybe Harnedy? Will we see them take another year on? Even Patrick Horgan.
Well, listen. Harnedy got 4 points in play today. Off that defence, and Hoggy I think finished at 114. I think it was 1-3 from play. So they were probably Cork's 2 best forwards. They were Cork's 2 best forwards today, and Darragh Fitzgibbon chipped in with 4 points in play as well. Brian Roach was probably quiet today. Dickie Dalton quiet. Maybe again given jobs to do. Maybe in terms of trying to curtail us was maybe the runs forward of Barry Nash maybe and Hayes, but certainly look at Hoggy and Harnedy certainly didn't let Cork down today, and they were the 2 guys taking the fight right to the end to Limerick. And in fairness to Hoggy, pressure frees, every one of those frees counted, and he nailed every one of them in the second half and came out again and nailed one from distance into a stiff breeze. So look at he gave it all for the Cork jersey today and got nothing like the same type of service or quality ball in front of him that, for example, Glan and Flanagan got at the other end. So again, Pat Ryan, his side gave it everything, and he couldn't ask for any more than that. And certainly, Cork were very, very close, and he'll know that. And that was without as well Robbie O'Flynn, Mark Coleman, obviously out for the year, so those guys have to come back into it. So Cork are not far away.
Yeah, it's been a good first year for Pat, hasn't it?
It has, but I suppose, listen, it's a results-based business, and ultimately he and his players will be bitterly disappointed. I mean, they came to Limerick to win the game today. They came up short. Probably that third quarter, where Limerick got 7 clear. The same thing happened in Ennis, where again they let Clare get away, and then it's a huge effort to drag it back. But look, they lost both games by a point.
Yeah.
And they are close. And Pat Ryan, as I said, can take, I think, a lot of positives from the way his side all year long have stayed in the fight, even in league matches, in Ennis, in Salthill and Galway, where things look to be going against them, and yet they fought the fight right to the bitter end. And even Paddy Power came off the bench, won an unbelievably hard ball for a free at the end that again was vital in terms of giving them a chance at the end. Brian Roach has had a good year. At the back, again, Jerry Miller I thought was excellent today, and Kieran Joyce was, I thought, absolutely aligned the heart of the Cork defence. So lots of positive for Pat Ryan, but as I said, at the same time, huge disappointment that they're out of the Munster Championship. Today was brilliant. 325, 130. I mean, it was hard to keep track of it. There was so much happening on the pitch, and credit to Waterford. Nobody saw that result happening down in Thurles, but clearly the Waterford players, had a good hard look at themselves, and as I said, to win that game by 6, it has to be, I suppose, Tipp and the big losers on the back of that okay, they're out, they've got the 3rd place, and obviously their championship season goes on, but I'd imagine Liam Catt and the players, ultimately it's about silverware, and they've failed to make the Munster final. That has to be bitterly disappointing for them.
Yeah, I know we can't analyse a game that we haven't seen because it was on at the same time as this, but what do you think happened there? Could it have been a sense of complacency maybe from Tipperary? Like every single pundit that I heard during the week was saying that this was the fight for 3rd place and it's going to be a Tipp Clare Munster final, and that just did not happen. Whatever happened down in Thurles today, it is a big loss, as you said.
It is, yeah, but Cathal, I mean, like, we all made assumptions coming in today. I mean, we all assumed that Wexford had zero form and that, Kilkenny, would go down to Wexford Park and win that match. We all assumed that Galway, okay, Cathal Mannion and Brian Concannon didn't start, and I felt that, that they're probably 2 of their 3 best forwards, and if Eoin O'Donnell put the shackles on Conor Whelan, you're wondering, would Dublin have a chance? But I still expected Galway to win that one, and that was a draw. Westmeath, then you're thinking at home, given, I suppose, they were buoyed after last week, they couldn't afford not to win if Wexford did win the match, and Antrim came down and did a number on them. So there was unbelievable drama here. But in terms of, to go back to your question about Tipp, how much did the Limerick game take out of them last week? And someone made the point to me that every time you play Limerick, it's extra physical, I suppose, given the size of the team, given the players they have in that middle third. Kyle Hayes, Will O'Donoghue, Diarmaid Burns, Garrod Hagerty, Tom Morrissey, Dan Morrissey. These guys hit hard, Mike Casey, and physically, you just wonder again, did Tipp obviously had to go into the well last week, and were they tired? And obviously Waterford had the week off, and obviously the way things ended up under Liam last year in Waterford, maybe the Waterford players felt that they wanted to maybe prove something, and I suppose, listen, they were probably pilloried after the Clare performance as well, and not showing up really against Cork either. So you've got to give Davy Fitz credit. Yeah. And I would have been critical of him after the Clare match, in the sense that some of the matchups, star lines on Tony Kelly didn't make sense. Conor Prunty bombing forward into the half forward line. I just thought that it didn't make any sense, a lot of what Waterford seemed to be doing. But clearly they had 2 weeks to get themselves right, and they did. And hats off to them, because nobody gave them a chance. Yeah. And to win the game by 6, there was no fluke about it. They seemed to be in control from the off, and they saw it out. And as I said, I questioned, whether maybe Davy had a future in Waterford after the Clare match. I think a lot of the Waterford hurling public that weren't going to the games, weren't behind the team, that they had maybe given up on that project, then they might be going in a different direction. But clearly that's got to be revisited now, because the players obviously played for the jersey and for Davy today, and they've thrown a curveball that none of us saw coming.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, it's hard to even process what we just saw there today. I think it's
Crazy day, yeah, crazy day, Carl, and huge drama in Leinster. I mean, that no one foresaw what is served up, and Wexford. I mean, Wexford were down deep into that game. I mean, you know, we were listening to it on the way into the game, and you know, I know it was a Paddy Mulcahy was really into it doing the commentary on RT, and it seemed to be a crazy match, but I think there were 9 goals in it, and Wexford had to go to the well and dig deep, and massive credit to Darragh Egan, because you know, for Wexford to be playing Joe McDonagh next year would have been inconceivable. You know, I saw them 4 times last year. They could have beaten they got a draw with Galway, were maybe lucky, should have beaten Dublin, beat Kilkenny in Nolan Park, and obviously, you know, took Clare right down to the wire and could have won that quarter-final in Thurles, and so showed last year that on their day, if their best players performed, they could live with anybody. So for them, as said, to be in the Joe McDonagh next year would have been a massive step backwards for them. So huge credit to Darragh and the Wexford players, you know, for, as I said, really finding something when they had no form and no confidence to take into the game. But their record against Kilkenny has been brilliant. You know, I think they've won 3 of the last 6 meetings, a draw, and lost narrowly in the other 2. So huge result for them. And you know, they're one of the big winners, even though they're out of the championship. They're still one of the big winners of the day. Cork, to a lesser extent, Tipp and Westmeath, probably the losers. Dublin, you know, could have beaten Galway. They could have. But they're still in the quarter final. They've got the 3rd place and will have to be respected given what we saw today.
The championship so far is really, you know, like this being on the final day, there's been so much drama. It's been like the Premiership between relegation and, you know, your top 4 and your top 3s and all that. It's been just fantastic, and it's not even June yet. So.
Yeah, and we're down to 9 matches now. Okay, 2 of those you'd imagine, and the Joe McDonagh was an unbelievable final yesterday. I didn't see it, but by all accounts an unbelievable match. There's 2 preliminary quarter-finals, and you'd assume that, you know, Tipp and Dublin will take care of business and get over Carlow.
You'd hope anyway, but now after today you can assume nothing.
Yeah, but after that it's down to 7 matches.
Yeah,
you know, you've got your 2 quarter-finals, your semi-finals. You know, your Ireland final, and obviously the 2 provincial finals to come. But yeah, it just feels in a way that there's only 7 matches left, or 7 to 9 matches left, given the season we've had. But yeah, look at hurling in a great place, and credit to the managements and the players for what they've served up, and the physical condition that these guys have got themselves into, the skill level, everything about it has been magical, and you know, we're just so lucky to have it. Yeah,
well, full time here in the Gaelic grounds. 325 to 130. What a game we've witnessed. What a Munster Championship we've witnessed. And there is still a final to go. Thank you very much, Jamesie.